Time is 6 o'clock. I call the meeting of the Atoka City Council to order. Ask everyone to rise as we do the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you would, bow with me, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today and we thank you, God, for a beautiful day, God, and that we got to wake up in a free country, God, and I just thank you for those blessings. I just pray, God, as we go into this meeting, that you would just give us wisdom and that the outcomes that would be the best for our citizens. And I just thank you for each person that showed up here tonight, and I pray, God, that again, you just lead us through this meeting. I pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Again, welcome to everyone. Thank you all for joining us. Got a full house this evening, so we'll get underway. This time, would the clerk call roll, please?
Mr. Turner?
Here.
Mr. Sherrill?
Here.
Miss McGee?
Here.
Miss Pogue?
Here.
Mr. Kathy?
Here. Okay, this is the public comment time. This is anything that is not on the posted agenda. You may address the board at this time. And hearing none, we'll move down to the business agenda. Item number 1, discussion and/or action regarding approving or rejecting the minutes of the meeting of April 21st, 2025.
I recommend approving.
I'll second.
The motion is second. Roll call, please.
Miss McGee?
Yes.
Miss Pogue?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Sherrill?
Yes.
Mr. Kathy?
Yes. Number 2, discussion and/or action regarding accepting or rejecting the city manager's report. Good evening, Mr. Delay. How are you, sir?
Good evening, everyone. My report is on attachment number 2, if anyone has any questions.
Anybody have any questions?
Questions for the city manager? Hearing none, do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
The motion is second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Sherrill?
Yes.
Miss McGee?
Yes.
Miss Pogue?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Kathy?
Yes. Number 3, discussion and/or action on approving or rejecting the blanket purchase orders for the city of Atoka for the month of May. Mr. Delay, back to you, sir.
Those are the same blanket and recurring POs we have every month. They're on attachment number 3.
I
Anyone has any
recommend,
questions?
I recommend approving.
I'll second.
The motion is second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Sherrill?
Yes.
Miss Pogue?
Yes.
Miss McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Kathy?
Yes. Number 4, discussion and/or action to approve, or reject the appointment of Shante Washington as a commissioner of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Miss Pogue?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Sherrill?
Yes.
Miss McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Kathy?
Yes. And I appreciate Mrs. Washington's ability to serve for us on this. I greatly appreciate it. It is a very important position to have for us. Thank you. All right, number 5, discussion and/or action on authorizing the city manager to loan funds from the Choctaw donation account and/or school tax account to the municipal authority and/or the city Atoka general fund to cover upfront construction costs associated with certain ARPA, USDA, and CDBG grants. These funds will be repaid upon receipt of reimbursement associated with those grants. Mr. Delay?
It's pretty self-explanatory. We've got, with several of these grants, we're having to pay cost up front, which depletes our funds in the AMA account. So we're having to come up with an alternative by being able to do this. So I discussed with the city attorney to make sure that we can do this.
How
And then
much
we
are
get reimbursed,
Yeah,
you know,
and how
once
much
we
are we
get.
talking? I mean,
It would just be whatever the PO is each time.
And that would have to be approved,
Yeah.
correct?
approved
Yeah.
Each time?
Yes.
And so all we're doing today is deciding if we want to do both funds
Or be able to utilize
Utilize both
either
funds.
or, you know, or both, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
Do we have an amount?
No, I just asked
They-
about that.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
it would have to come back for the
Yeah.
council.
It would just be like tonight's discussion of payment.
Okay.
So I recommend authorizing the city manager, authorizing the city manager to loan funds from the Choctaw Nation and/or the school tax account.
Okay. Have a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Sherrill?
Yes.
Miss Pogue?
Yes.
Miss McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Kathy?
Yes. Item number 6, discussion and/or action to approve, reject the request submitted by Sunview Development LLC to change the current R1 single-family residential to R2 general residential for lots 11 through 17, Block 7, University Heights Edition, Atoka, Oklahoma. The recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission was to refer the request to the City Council without an approval or an objection. So, Mr. City Attorney, on that, so it falls to us this evening. I'm assuming that's why some of the folks are here this evening to discuss this matter?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we're looking at, is there a, on
There
this
should be a
plat,
handout.
there is,
Should be attachment. Well, this one.
okay,
First part, it involves this.
does that go, does this go with that also?
It does.
Okay.
And Mr. Mayor, I would just point out, this is our currently zoned R1 district, single-family homes. It doesn't allow for multifamily units.
Okay,
Right.
All of the area surrounding this is all R1 as well, and they're asking to rezone just these few lots to R2 so that they can build some duplexes, which are multifamily units.
Is the they here in the audience that wants to, who is they?
the Sunset,
Okay.
Sunview.
Sunview, yeah, Sunview.
Can't even read I
Is there
can't read
not
it.
somebody
So-
from
Okay,
Sunview
can-
here?
Can you
That-
explain where and all that? I'm sorry, I don't know where this is.
That's what I'm asking myself.
Okay.
This is 15th Street, you know, where my, South Dunbar, and then South Dunbar goes to Connection and goes to Gin Road.
Mhm.
Okay, it's when you turn left, a little area, you go down, I don't know, 100 yards, and it's an area you drive up into where Clifford Brown used to own a house up in there. His mom's house was up in there.
Okay.
I believe it used to be called
I'm trying to-
McKinley.
It was at McKinley's.
I think it was
Right
McKinley.
here, see the little red box?
Well, no,
Red box
McKinley
at the
is
very bottom.
15th Street, that's 15th Street. McKinley is at least where the culverts are at.
Is that, it just says driveway on the map?
Right,
Is it a
it's a
street?
very narrow driveway.
Okay.
It
It's not,
is a platted street.
it is a platted street, correct, but is it, so it's not, it doesn't have a name to that street apparently? Just says driveway on the map.
I've
Okay.
never known it to have a name, but.
So those,
And,
so there's one larger lot and then three small ones?
okay.
To the south, to the north of those, is that,
Mayor, was that up there where the zero lines had all that land? Is that-
I believe it's,
is that what we're
I
talking
believe
about?
it's close, to- I believe they're
North
south
of
of
there,
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just to the north side of that, I believe.
but it'll be off of 15th Street going.
Yeah, you'd have to access it, by this
North,
map, it
uh-huh.
looks like you'd have to access it
Have
through
we-
15th Street.
Okay, have we actually put a road in there? Because back in the day, it
It
wasn't a
wasn't,
road.
it's still, and I
It
still
was
don't
just
know a
like
name.
gravel.
If it's had a name, I've
If
never known
that.
it.
Well, that's why,
It was,
On
it
Google, it
was
shows it's
Jackson Street.
Okay, cause see, I was thinking that it wasn't
Maybe.
even in the city limits, cause you know, some of that over there isn't.
Well,
But this
Vivian's
apparently
not
is.
in the
Yeah,
city.
yeah,
This
Vivian's
is-
not.
To that house was, cause we used to, run calls on there.
We did a lot of calls on that. Don't,
so, so this,
I'm
I used to
serious.
be very familiar with it.
I am too.
so in that, inside that red rectangle there, is there 3 tracts of land?
Yeah, there's multiple lots.
Right.
It's all one parcel, that's why it just has one outline, because it's all owned by the same person,
Okay,
but it is multiple.
so on that
lots.
parcel, 2/3 of it is what they're proposing to build out?
Yes.
And they'll leave track 3 vacant at this time.
Okay.
Well, I don't know anything about the other lot, but I know this lot here, has had a lot of criminal activity involved in it. And I don't know how many times I've had to call Gene, Dotson.
Let me ask you a question. When you're saying that, why are you looking at me?
Because you're a criminal, no, I'm just teasing. No,
Does he
I'm
fit the
looking
profile?
at Gene, but, I have had to call Gene because, first of all, the property wasn't being taken care of. And then there was things happening on the property, that, was drug related. So I went up and looked at myself, and there was old mattresses, needles, all kind of stuff up in there, and I asked the landowner to take care of it.
Is somebody here with this company?
That's what I asked who they was,
I
and,
don't see
No.
Who
anybody.
signed this petition?
J.
J.
Mock.
Mock.
and he's not here.
He was not able to make it tonight.
Yeah. Anyways, but it's always been a high criminal activity area in there, and I've always had to call Gene and the Atoka Police Department to control that area. And I don't understand what's gonna be put in that area when we're talking about, affordable rental housing duplexes. Anybody know what's going in that area, or what they're planning?
When they came before the.
You wanna come up here,
Planning and
Reed?
Zoning Commission,
Sorry, yeah, come forward, please.
And until who you are.
Yeah,
when they came before the
And
planning and.
state your name just for the moment.
Reva Crawford,
Thank you, Reeve.
part of the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Mhm.
When they came before us, Mr. Mock was not there. There was another gentleman that represented him. But what they told us, they were building 2 duplexes that then were gonna be sold to the Choctaw Nation, and they're gonna be, I don't know,
For
halfway
displaced.
house, displaced families, so it will be high turnover. So that's one of the concerns of the citizens. Sorry, my allergies are getting.
So.
I understand. My allergies.
Displaced, didn't say
We
what
don't know.
displaced was.
They just said
Okay.
displaced families that will be there long enough for them to get back on their feet. So it's not like a constant tenant that's gonna be in there. So that was a lot of the big concern for some of the property owners.
Thank you.
Thank you. Reva, is this what they presented, the drawings? Did they, okay.
How many do we have here from the Planning and Zoning Committee?
One.
Oh, one, just one, okay.
Well, thank you for
Thank you.
shedding some light on that for us. And I'm assuming several people here this evening were at the planning and zoning meeting as well and had these same concerns, is that correct? Okay.
Is there anyone here for this?
Okay, one of the things that we need is transitional housing in our town though. That is something that we've always needed. And if they found an area that the property had a lot of drug activity, this isn't like they're gonna put in something that's not gonna be controlled. Somebody's gonna have to be on top of it for transitional living.
Who said it was transitional living?
Right, so why not take the woods and make it into something that could be viable for some of the homeless people that we have running around live in? I mean, this sounds like a solution to a major problem.
Okay, yeah, yes, if you'd like to speak, no more than, no?
No,
Oh, okay.
definitely, yeah, no,
Yeah,
I wanna hear from
okay,
you.
Yeah, I wanna hear from you.
yes.
Okay, so my name is Lisa Colbert, part of the Ernestine Colbert's resident, okay? And it's only 2 houses, which is myself and Miss Letitia back there, okay? So she more so than me have been up in there, and like she said, it's a heavy drug, criminal activities up that way. Me, myself, I wouldn't put a family up there, that's trying to get back up on their feet, because it's a lot of woods up in this area, okay? And it's a pond that's not, you can't see the pond, but, for us that grew up in the area, it's a pond back there. So my number one thoughts is, if a family of violence live up in that area, right? The kids is outside playing, number one, I'm worried about if they're gonna step on some old needles or something, you know what I'm saying? Somebody's lurking off of those woods, say like if the victim's ex was lurking in those woods and stuff, because it's a light up in there, but it's not very good lighting. And that road itself is not even big enough for a fire truck to even get up in that area too. So it's just not no good area for that project to even go to in the first place. And another thing that I was looking at, say if a person didn't have no car, that's a long walk from that area where they talking about off of 15 and Gin, because I know everybody's familiar with that area, from 15 and Gin, and let's say you have to go to Pilots or Walmart's or something, that's a very long walk, because everybody might not have money to pay for Inca to come and get them. And if it's a single person, so not only do they have to walk to work from that area, they have to walk to daycares to pick up their kids as well.
That's an easy solve though, because we can work with the Choctaws to provide free transportation. if need
Well,
be.
first of all, it might just be for Choctaws. We
That's
need-
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but we can still
so
work with
we
the
don't even
Choctaws.
know
I know,
that.
but you're saying transitional
If it-
housing.
okay.
You know, it might not just be for everyone, it might be for
Just
CDIB
Choctaws,
homes.
right.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, I mean, that would be great, because how many Choctaws do we have that are homeless?
I
You'd be
don't know.
surprised, though. You really would be
I
surprised.
really don't know.
Right.
I
And,
mean-
and not only that, my mind, and it's just me thinking, 16 in Oregon, you know, they got that big empty lot right there, you know. To me, that would be a better area to put these duplexes, because it's right there close to all the jobs, all the daycares and stuff like that.
So, no, we don't know what the Choctaw Nation would want to do with these. Did they present a plan at the meeting or anything?
They did not.
So it's just
Yeah.
wide open.
So they're looking at building these with the anticipation,
That Choctaw is going to buy them, then turn around and buy them and use them for that.
but they presented no guarantee of that, correct? Okay.
Is there anyone else that
Thank
would
you.
like to speak? Letitia? She lives right next to the area, Letitia Garcia does.
Good evening.
Like you said, my name's Letitia Garcia. I do live down there at the very bottom of that hill. One of the concerns I had was how narrow that road is for any kind of emergency vehicle to try to get up there. It's nearly impossible. One way, either you're
Yeah.
coming or you're going in or you're going out. They were gonna have to back up a long way, either way, to let the other vehicle go by. It's nothing but woods. You brought up a point to clear that off. Another thing that I have is a drainage problem. City of Atoka was out there testing the waters because there was a lot of water after the rains. They thought there was a leak. It's nothing but drain coming down. You take down all the
Everyone
trees
tell me
and
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
it's
why.
gonna get even worse. You know, that's another thing, that has concerned us as well. I just don't see it working well for anybody involved. We've called numerous times, for people dumping trash, animals, vehicles being parked up there, vehicles
Stolen
being
cars.
stolen and just parked up there. I just don't see a good outcome out of this. It took us nearly 3 years for people to stop knocking at our door, asking for drugs. It took nearly 3 years, because that's what that area is known for. I don't want another place up there where that can be the next drug house, the next crack house, because of the turnaround that's gonna be there. It's not gonna be one set of family steady there. It's gonna be constantly moving in and out. So that's another thing that does concern us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia.
Yes.
Well,
Okay.
Hi, my name's Amy Wilson. And the Sunnyview here, this lot is .54 acres. It's a very small lot. And the road that goes to that is like a trail. I mean, it's overgrown, which is easily fixed, but it would have to be brought up to spec.
Sure.
Roads, sewer. It's a lot of cost on the city. And yes, it would be nice for that stuff to be done, but that is almost like a dead end up there. And for
It's a
that,
dead end.
yeah, for that housing to be in that position is the wrong spot. I have 4 acres horseshoeing this piece of property. And I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it yet. I would like to put affordable housing, new homes on the place eventually. But this could make this property worse if this is, you know, known for the drug use. Anyways, I'm against it, and I know the people living there are, but anyways, that's all I was gonna say about it. It was just kinda in relation to how big this piece of property is, and then trying to fit, you know, their parking and their housing on it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you know, on that, on the road and the utilities, again, if anyone was to make improvements to that, the city would put that burden back on that developer to put all that infrastructure in. That wouldn't, the initial infrastructure installation would not be borne, you know, cost would not be borne by the city of Atoka, it'd be borne by that developer, or it's, I mean, but there would have to be, you know, drainage studies done, everything. I mean, there's a lot of work that would have to go into a development like that to make those improvements, that distance just for these two structures. So, you know, there's a lot of factors involved in that being a viable project to start with. And, you know, not having a representative here this evening to answer some of these questions, and it makes it more difficult to see how this project would work, especially with the citizens coming and voicing their concerns about a facility like this being in the neighborhood. So, is there any other discussion? Anybody else would like to come before the council and speak? Yes, sir.
My name is Kunta Hobson. I am representing my mother, Elizabeth Frazier.
Okay.
My kind of issue is probably more the builder itself, because when they came over to our side of the area, they started building these manufactured homes. And my issue was when they built my mom's house, they put it together. And all of the utilities, well, we'll start with utilities first. The utilities, the sewer, they tied into the old septic tank, where it should have been on the city sewer. They said it is. So the punch list, what they went through, was never done right. And I've been trying to call this guy, Jay Mock, for 2 years, and never got no call back, no nothing at all. And I think the biggest thing is, you know, we let them come over there to build these houses, and no one followed up behind and find out what's going on. And for my mom being her age, I can only imagine the other people in the area having the same issues. And it is, because when I started working on my mom's house, where I shouldn't have to, I'm working on other people's houses, doing the same things, HVAC work. Some houses don't even have installations blown in the walls or in the ceiling. So this guy that we're letting Sunview, whatever else coming through doing these houses, is doing below minimum work on these houses. And that's the thing that kind of, it irritates me, because, like, you know, we're building new homes, and this is what they're doing. And if they're doing it to my mom, I can only imagine what they're doing to other people that really had no voice or do anything else. So when I saw they're trying to build a halfway house that has no utilities, trying to work on anything else, that's a bigger problem. You're asking for bigger work. And right now, like I said, my mom, right now I'm trying to get drawings. I'm just trying to get simple drawings of my mom's work of a house, and I can't get nothing. For utilities, nothing where I can tell you what type of flooring she has, cabinets she's got. I can't get nothing from this company. And this is what the same company y'all keep letting in the city keep doing work, doing houses, doing everything else. And I just don't know what's going on. Who's following up behind them and say, hey, what are y'all doing? Holding their feet to the fire. This would never happen. I mean, I'm from Wisconsin. Would never happen. It's kind of, that's what irritates me, like, what are we doing? And they still trying to build more houses, especially in the low-income area where people have no voice. So that's what kind of irritates me on that point there.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I just want to say, if we all can agree that we have a homeless problem in our town, and we all say, not in my neighborhood, then we never fix our homeless problem. We have to start somewhere. We have to put a transitional housing somewhere. We have to put a shelter somewhere to help these people. And if everybody says, not on my side, not in my town, then we never help the people that need us the most. This is a good thing. This is not like building a house and letting drug addicts run into it. A transitional housing has rules and regulations, and if that's what the Choctaws want to do, I commend them, that they want to improve the quality of life for the citizens that need us.
We don't know that's what's gonna happen.
And we don't.
We
And-
don't.
And you gotta remember homeowners too. Anytime somebody, but homeowners, their property is gonna go down too. I mean, I'm all for trying to find a homeless, but you know, a homeless place for the homeless. But it's not only that. I mean, these people are homeowners. I mean,
I'm not disagreeing, I'm just saying,
And I
where
disagree too,
then?
so.
Where? Because if everybody says, not here, not over here, I don't want it here, then it never gets built.
Well, I think too, if it is going to be something, there's gonna be facilities like this that are through the Choctaw Nation, then we probably need to work with the Choctaw Nation to have
with-
guarantees.
And they have land too.
And have land to work, absolutely, to work on where it can be in the community.
Right.
And, but I mean, when you
Yeah, I'm
have,
Choctaw,
when
so.
you have this volume of residents that come that are concerned about their neighborhood and their property values, that's a concern.
I'm so sorry. As Erica was explaining, and I could be wrong.
If you don't mind, I'm sorry. Sorry for the rules, have to come up.
No,
Yeah,
hey,
so everybody can
I
hear you.
understand. So, Erica, if I'm correct and if I'm wrong, please let me know. That place that was on Sixth and Oregon.
Okay, I was trying, oh, okay, you're talking about, are you talking about on the road to the school?
It used to be an
Oh,
old nursing home.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
It
I
used
know
to be
what you're
an
talking
old
about,
nursing
yes.
home, and I
Yeah,
forgot what the nursing home.
Canada's or whatever.
Yeah,
this would be-
that was a place for the homeless. Now, I didn't know that they tore it down.
Okay, that hotel had asbestos in it, and it could not be turned into anything.
Correct.
Okay.
So,
Well,
cause.
it
I-
was, it did
that
have people
was
in
some-
there
it did
prior
have
to
people
that,
in
and
it.
they were
Yes.
running it as a homeless
Before we
place.
tested it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, now, I seen an empty house, a two-story house on Second and Pennsylvania. So you already have buildings that's already set up. I feel that it's a good area, but like everyone has said, that area where we're talking about, and you have to visually go and look for yourself, it's not a good area. It's not like we don't want to help the people, we don't want to help our community, because we do. We want to help everyone. You see what I'm saying? Because Lord knows, I used to be at the bottom until somebody had to help me to where I had to get to now and stuff. It's just not that area. And until you go and see it for yourself, you will never understand it. But to me, again, like I said, Second in Pennsylvania, it's a two-story house. It might need some
I know what you're talking about,
renovation
yes.
and stuff done to it, but I think that that would be a good start right there. But with these homeless people, first of all, we got to get them clean. We got to get them clean, because everywhere I go here in town, it says help wanted. And I always grew up, you first got to start trying to help yourself before somebody else can help you. And if you're not trying to help yourself, then I can't help you. I can help you buy a tent all day long, but until you actually saying, I need help, I don't care if it's drugs, alcohol, or whatever, you first got to start with yourself. Because you can get these people housing all day long, but if they're not working, how they gonna pay their bills? Because as government, you know, we can't keep saying, okay, go sign up for Section 8 food stamps, you know, we're gonna pay this. And as long as we keep taking care of them, they're not gonna never, ever take care of themselves. That's like a stray dog. Once you start feeding it, you're not gonna be able to get rid of it.
As a product of social services, I disagree. There are people that make it. There are people that only need a hand up.
I
in
understand.
life,
Been there, done
and they
that.
can make it.
I understand that.
But if we don't do anything, then it just leaves them. They're not all drug addicts.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are young moms who got kicked out on the street, domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
There's more than just drug addicts.
Right, that's true.
So to narrow that view and put it all as it's drug addicts is wrong of us, because there are more than that. There are people with disabilities out there that are living on the street because they don't get a big enough check to do anything. Who can afford $1,000 a month in rent? $1,200 with $900 check. In Atoka, yes, sir.
We understand, with jobs, not houses.
We brought jobs.
Industrial jobs.
Is there any other
Yeah,
questions
is there any
concerning,
other-
we're getting
yeah,
off,
yeah.
we're getting
Is
off
there any
of
other-
this.
With no plan for what the property
Yeah.
will be and no support from
No
anybody.
support
I
from
would-
anyone?
I would make a recommendation that we reject the request.
Okay.
I'll second.
Motion on the floor is to reject the
And
request.
I'll second.
Mayor,
Yes.
It says a reject or.
Councilman Cheryl, it would be helpful moving forward if Councilman Cheryl could identify in his motion the reason why he's proposing to reject it, specifically if that reason would involve that it constitutes spot zoning, and the whole area is R1, this would be an R2 in the middle of an R1 district.
Okay,
So what you said?
And that needs
that's
to.
exactly what I said.
That needs to be the reason and documented in the
Okay.
minutes.
And I will
We're not-
second exactly what you
Yes,
said,
we're not spot zoning.
Mr. Lawyer,
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor
and we are
to reject
rejecting.
it due to spot zoning, correct? And a second on the floor, roll call, please.
Mr. Turner,
No.
Well, wait a minute, wait. What is a yes vote? A yes is to reject it, right?
So
Okay.
yes is
Okay.
to
And a no?
reject it,
Okay,
and no is
all right.
to.
Let me change my vote. Yes.
Mr. Sherrill,
Yes.
Miss McGee,
Yes.
Miss Poe,
No.
Mr. Kathy.
Yes.
I know I have to ask.
All right. Thank you all. Okay, item number 7, discussion and/or action to approve or reject the request submitted by Foran Revocable Trust to change the R1 Single Family Residential to C2 Highway Commercial for Lot 6, Block 68, Atoka City, Atoka, Oklahoma. The recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission was to refer the request to the City Council without an approval or a rejection. Ms. Foran, good evening. How are you?
If I could make one comment.
Yes, sir.
This is not spot zoning.
Okay.
Because the property bordering this is already C2.
Okay.
So this would be extending our C2 district just a little bit.
Okay.
Just to show you.
Is that pertaining to me or that? Okay.
Okay.
So what'd you mean?
You're good.
I'm going to the house and eat supper.
No, you still.
Oh, I still gotta talk? Okay. What y'all wanna know?
What
are
is
you
this?
doing?
Huh?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Hi, what am I doing?
What are you wanting to do here?
Prepare,
Okay.
my property for, whatever comes along. If it be commercial, I have the ability to sell it, whatever. I don't want to be in rent house business anymore.
Okay, so what are we talking about? We're talking about the tire, the tire?
It's,
Just directly to the north, right
north,
there. is
it's
the tire
across the
shop.
street, across
Okay.
9th Street. It's where Dr. Rippey's mama used to
Oh,
live.
yes, okay.
In that blue house.
Yeah, okay.
It's
Ninth and
it's just a quarter
Ninth
of
and
that
California.
block.
9th in California.
Okay.
in the corner. It's,
I know
it's the
exactly
second
what
half of
you're
that.
talking about.
We really don't have any plans right now, Diane, for anything, but just would like to prepare and be rezoned.
There's, and have you looked at all the zoning requirements for C2? So like if you get ready to build a structure on there, the setbacks, they're different than the residential, so, and the parking areas and all that have to be
Yeah,
looked
and
at.
one question I had for you guys, that the zoning folks couldn't help me with, was if we decided to go with a residential, then I have to come back and go through this process again,
Correct.
is that correct?
If we approve to change it tonight, and you did decide to do residential, then it's gotta be completely rezoned
Completely
back to.
redone. So I get to come visit y'all again then?
absolutely.
Okay. No, we would like to go commercial if we could,
Okay.
for, to be considered for that.
Because it has commercial all along the east side of it, on the east
Yeah,
side, so.
this lot's behind the pond cricket complex there, where the snow cone stand is,
Yeah,
it's right
yeah.
behind there.
So again, just, if you do decide to build something, that's a really busy intersection right there, so trying to make sure that's safely for people to get in and out of your parking area and drainage and all that needs to really be looked at very
Okay.
closely when you get to that point. So, is there any,
And Inca's up there, so you have to be careful about your, we've got the school there.
Right. But that's all commercial south of us, so
Yep.
it's just,
Yeah, it just has to be, certain things, you have to be so many feet.
right.
okay,
Anybody from those apartments right there?
anybody have any comments or questions on this
They
side?
were all sent letters.
So nobody said, nobody
Nobody's-
objected?
Nobody was at the zoning,
Is that called Virginia? Is that Virginia
Zoning
apartments or
meeting.
something?
I think it used to be something like that.
Virginia.
But, there's just like 8.
Yeah,
little
little
units.
it's just south.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Do I hear a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the request submitted by Alice Foran.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Ms. Pogue?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Sherrill?
Yes.
Mr. Kathy?
Yes. Mr. Foran, thank you.
Thanks, Alice.
Item number 8, discussion and/or action to approve or reject the payment to HCCCO for payment application number 5 in the amount of $57,552.49. $28,776.25 will be reimbursed by the CDBG Headworks grant. Mr. Delay?
That pretty well.
Any light need to be
sums-
shed on this?
So that pretty well sums it up
Okay.
right there.
All right.
That leaves the balance to be paid out of the debt, out of ARPA.
Okay.
I recommend approval. Do I need to say the amount, Johnny?
Yep. Okay. Have a motion on the floor. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Pogue?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Sherrill?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Kathy?
Yes. Item number 9, discussion and/or action to approve or reject the payment to Talon Commercial Services for payment application number 1 in the amount of $395,204.40.
That's listed on attachment number 5. Out of that amount, $340,250 will be paid from a Choctaw grant we received for this project, and the other $54,954.40 will be paid from the Department of Commerce grant that I got.
Okay. Thank you.
If there's not any questions, I recommend approving.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Sherrill?
Yes.
Ms. Pogue?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Kathy?
Yes. Item number 10, discussion and/or action regarding adopting or rejecting resolution number 2025-10, whereas it is in the best interest of the city of Atoka to execute that certain project application for the Municipal Road Drilling Activity Fund with the Oklahoma Department of Transportation. Back to you, Mr. Delay.
This gives me y'all's authority to go ahead and apply for this grant again. This is the one that we're using this year to overlay on 6th Street.
Okay.
We previously did Court Street with the first one we received.
Okay. Any questions? Do I hear a motion?
I recommend approving.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Pogue?
Yes.
Mr. Sherrill?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Kathy?
Yes. Item number 11, discussion and/or action to approve or reject the memorandum of understanding between the City of Atoka Emergency Management and Lane Fire Department regarding outdoor warning sirens. Good evening, Mr. Mullins.
Good evening, Mayor.
Travis?
I've got a agreement, it's also on your attachments. with
And just
the,
to interrupt you for a minute, if everybody hears those sirens go off and they make sure you're safe at night, it's this young man right here that stays up all night long out at the police department with another group to make sure we're all safe in this town. And they do an amazing job at it, and they are on the computer screens nonstop tracking weather on about 15 different stations and channels and radars to try to keep us all safe. So anyway, I'll shut up, take off, Mo. Thank you. Thank you for what you do.
Lane is actually gonna be getting their siren installed here hopefully either this week or next week. They have one that's an old one of ours that we gave them a long time ago. It worked 2 times and it shorted out and they've not been able to use it since. So they're getting some new technology. They're wanting to go in agreement with us where we can activate it during a tornado warning and stuff for the town, or the community. Their fire chief and board president has signed the new agreement that I got today from them. They understand that they're fully responsible for the system. They understand if we set it off, it does not go off. We're not responsible. We're just sending a signal to it, just telling it to activate. We're not responsible if anything happens. Johnny has looked over it and agreed to it. The main thing different from our other ones that we've signed with like Stringtown, we're about to work with Tushka and Caney on, we'll be activating this one on what's called our emergency management frequency because our lane is over the hill and I don't have direct communications with it. I have to have a repeater that's on the tower out here to transfer that signal on out to them. So that's the only difference in this agreement versus the rest of them we've signed.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Mullins?
I recommend approving.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Roll call, please.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Ms. Pogue?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Sherrill?
Yes.
Mr. Kathy?
Yes. Number 12, discussion and/or action to approve or reject the management of storm shelters during severe weather as authorized whether by authorized volunteers.
I kind of come to Johnny with this a couple of days ago, or about this time last week. We decided to come before the council and discuss it with y'all. We currently are opening up the cafetorium, which is the band room, McCall Middle School, and the old football field up here. The thing that scares me the most is the public's walking in the door, they don't know what they're doing. If the building takes a direct hit from a tornado, there's certain procedures that have to be done at all these buildings. Not to mention in the two at the school, there's school laptop computers laying around, band instruments laying around, we're unlocking the door and just leaving it set there. Who's responsible if that stuff gets stolen? Figure it's gonna come back on me because I'm the one unlocking the door. I would like to see volunteers that could set at the door and their only job is to make sure all the school stuff stays in there and the door can be properly locked if the event a tornado does happen to come through our town and hit the shelter. The thing that really gets me is, like the one up here at the old football field that nobody's at most of the time except for during an event, that one has two doors with 3 locks each. That building must be locked 6 times for it to take a hit from a tornado. If you lock one and one, it can rip out of the door, and then it hurts everybody inside the building. There's no rules up there, there's no list of nothing that tells anybody how to do it. So I would like to see us be able to provide like volunteers to kind of watch them, because we are seeing vandalism. I opened them the other day, they tore one of them up on me. I was able to fix it myself, it wasn't too bad. Opened it up a little while later, and then sidewalk chalk, some wording that I cannot say, was wrote on the side of the building while it was open. It's getting to the point that it kind of makes me mad every time I have to open it, because I know I'm gonna have to do something, clean up trash or do something. So if we can just put somebody there that just says, hey, can you pick up your bottle, take it with you? Or have a trash bag up there. I'm trying to do that, but it's hard to remember to do that every time I run into unlock them before a tornado warning. So I think this would just help us. It also help keep our citizens safe and stuff like that. Johnny may have some more
Those are
information.
unlocked when there's a tornado watch issued, correct?
The undergrounds are unlocked during a tornado watch. The above ground remain locked until the storm gets closer. Most of the time, around 35 or what we consider about an hour out, we try to send somebody up to unlock the old football field. Now the school, the storm's got to be right on the county line before we'll unlock it, or if we think it's going to make it to us.
Okay.
We try to only unlock it when it's absolutely necessary and unlock it as soon as it's over with. But in that 30 minutes that it's open, you can carry a lot of stuff out of one of the buildings without us being there.
Sure.
So that's,
Have you kind of got I mean, you don't have to say any names tonight, but have you had any discussions with individuals that would possibly
I've
be
had
volunteers?
the cafetorium. I know somebody that goes to it all the time who's also a firefighter, so that's gonna be a pretty easy one. I'm pretty sure he'll take it. The old football field up here, I know somebody over there. I have not been able to make contact with him. He hasn't answered his phone, but I can talk to him. I know he goes in it every time. He calls me anytime there's trash left in it or anything like that. He's letting me know. So I think he's a good one on that. We'd like to see probably like 6 to 9 people, just in case one of them people's out.
Sure.
There's 6 to 9 that knows, they check in with us, and then they'll be assigned which one with a radio where they can talk to us, set of keys, a flashlight, a safety vest, just the basics. That way if something happens, they can, kind of help
Do you
out.
have any idea how many people go to those shelters?
Kind of varies. I will get told at one point there's as simple as 2 or 3 in there. To the cafetorium one night, they said there was probably 7 people in it.
They're utilized
Yeah,
throughout.
they're utilized all the way across, but it
Travis-
just.
Oh, excuse me.
Go ahead.
Do you have rules on pets,
We only
Is
have.
The school
I'm
has rules
hearing-
on that, since it's all school property.
okay, well, I'm hearing that there's been pets and,
There's been, and it ain't just us, Stringtown's running into this too. They're talking about that tomorrow night, I guess.
okay.
But what I say is, as far as I've been told by previous administrators, only service pets is allowed. That's it.
Okay.
I understand, my dog's my best friend. I'd rather it be with me. Unfortunately, it stays at home. It doesn't get to go with me at the EOC. But, I understand how pets are, but it's like I tell everybody,
Didn't we have one that was designated that you could take your pets? No?
not that I know of.
Okay.
I know we have had, when I first took over, I had an issue where somebody brought a cat in a bag and somebody had a dog in a bag and we didn't know it, and it got a cat and dog fight in the middle of it, so.
I thought used to we had one that we said.
No, just because animals may perform very well at home. You put them in a high, it's a high-stress scenario, new area.
New people, kids
people.
screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
So,
gets very
and
stressful.
not to mention, people have severe allergies to animals. Some people do. So, for those main two reasons there, and the safety of others and for their health, but not allowing the animals in the, because I know we have pets too, and they're very near and dear to us, so they get to stay at home as well, so. I would think under this item that, the volunteers,
Who would want it? I mean, is there any way that could be paid volunteers? Because who wants to?
well, there's a lot of people that volunteer to.
I got two guys that spend 12, 13 hours a night sitting with me volunteer, so.
Yeah.
You know.
Usually you can get storm.
But
We're not asking them to stay there hours on end, they'll be contacted, like, say if it's an overnight event, they'll be contacted right now, say, hey, we got a chance of a tornado, who's gonna do it? Like, I'll send out a text message, the first three responding, or like that, they'll coordinate, get their stuff early, we'll call them when we need them to go unlock it, make sure they're there, got them unlocked just ahead of the storm, they may stay there an hour to get to leave. So, we're not asking for, like us,
Yeah.
spending 12 hours a
No.
night sitting there
Okay.
twiddling your thumbs, but.
I know it's not there, but, you brought up the rules section. I
Yeah.
think we don't have those displayed, along with volunteers and things of that nature, having clearly designated rules on
That,
every.
the three of them are currently still owned by the ones we're proposing putting people with, they're still owned by the school, so that'll be me and the superintendent get together.
A little bit.
freezing.
Yeah, it's freezing.
That's pretty good. But, that'd be something I'll get with them now, if, in the event that property does get turned over to us, that'll be up to the council to make a decision what they want to do on that.
Very good, thank you. Okay. Any other questions, comments for the board?
Almost to approve
I'll
to.
second.
You were gonna,
I did second.
I just motion to approve to let Travis
okay.
Let- let him-
We have a
volunteer
second?
to.
I
Motion,
did.
motion and second, roll call, please.
Ms. Pogue?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Sherrill?
Yes.
Mr. Kathy?
Yes. Okay, as we move down the agenda, this is public requested agenda items. Item number 1, discussion and updates with the Atoka County Library regarding services they provide and their upcoming summer reading program. Ms. Melissa, how are you this evening, ma'am?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Melissa Walker. I am the new Atoka County Library branch manager. I brought some things for you guys. Did I just hand them out?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Certainly.
If you just start them here, we can pass them.
No, that's too much work.
Most of you guys know me. What he's passing around are most of the programs and services that we provide at the library. When I started, I didn't realize there were so many things, and I was a patron. Some of them are highlighted, and then if you flip over, some of the most prominent things that we do are highlighted so you can kind of see what's going on. A big thing that we've started recently was passports. That is a major stressor, but it's busy and we've done a lot. We offer story times for all the county pre-K classes. We do 3D printing, copies, fax, notary. We have a storybook drill at the park. Lots of programs, including STEM, arts, crafts, nutrition programs, just all kinds of neat things. If you look on the back page, there's some stats from 23-24 fiscal year. Those are pretty amazing, but I can tell you that this year is going to be a lot more than that. We're busier than ever. I've brought a lot of new programs, done a lot more outreach, and we are busy. That number there at the bottom, it shows that last year there were 47,000 books checked out over for adults, 30,000 for juvenile. So combined 78,000. That's not including digital. These days everybody is digital. So that number there at the bottom, the 63,564, was digital checkouts with Hoopla and Libby apps. That number also has grown a lot more. As far as how busy Atoka is, Atoka County Library has more landmass than the other 7 branches in our 8-branch system. So we cover a lot. We give Ardmore a run for their money. They have 2 libraries in Ardmore. One is the public library, and one is Champion Library, which is ours, our main office. Actually, we did a winter reading challenge in Atoka County, read more than all the other branches combined. We started our summer program today, and Atoka had 49 people signed up today, and Ardmore had 3, so.
Excellent.
Kudos to you, Melissa.
Anyway, we are doing big things, and we appreciate you guys. If you ever need anything from us, or you need to use the meeting room, which you guys have all these, you guys get top priority. I know since I've been there about 10 or 11 months, you guys have been on the spot helping me every time something broke down or I needed help. We really appreciate it.
We try.
I'll have some big asks coming, you know, my big 3 to 5 year plan, but for right now, I just want to introduce myself and tell you what we have going on. Thank you.
Thank
so
you,
much.
Melissa.
Thank
You're
you very
doing a great
much.
job. I
Thank you.
appreciate you.
Those are incredible numbers,
I
and,
know.
and you see people in and out throughout the day, you just don't realize it's that many people coming in and out of the library. That's impressive. It tells me you do an amazing job with it. So thank you for the update tonight. All right, item number 2 under public request agenda items. Discussion with Becky Richards regarding the June 5th, 2025 Jefferson Highway Bus Tour and other events and updates associated with Jefferson Highway Association. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
How are
Thank
you?
y'all for the opportunity. I'm Becky Richards, and I represent the Stringtown Historical Foundation, and also as a business owner here in Atoka, kind of doing a dual job tonight. But thank y'all for the opportunity of allowing me to be on the agenda
Yes, ma'am.
to represent our organizations. I think you have an attachment probably from Adeline Wissenhunt in your packet there. And so it's just pretty self-explanatory. I don't probably have to read.
This one.
No, I see it.
Adeline is the, as it starts out there at the top, she's the Southern District Director for the Oklahoma chapter of the Jefferson Highway Association, and she works in closely with Billy Sumner, who's the Director of Tourism in McAllister. Every year at the Jefferson Highway Association Conference, a state is chosen to hold the conference for that year. And I think this one's going to be the 13th conference, the 13th year that they've done this. Of course, the Jefferson Highway Association was established way back, like 1916, but they have these conferences every year, and it's in a different state. Last year, it was in Alexandria, Louisiana, and it was at that meeting that they announced that Oklahoma was chosen to be the state for the 2025 conference. So we were excited about that, and McAllister was the city chosen for the conference.
Great.
So it's going to be from the June 4th through the 7th will be the entire conference, but on the 5th is when they will do the bus tour that will go all the way from McAllister to Durant. They'll use that day of the conference to do that. And the bus tour is something they do every year. In the bigger cities, they may not go as many miles because they have a lot of historic places and, you know, businesses they want the people to see right there in a close confined area. But in the more rural areas like we are, they thought going from McAllister to Durant would cover a lot of territory and give the people out of there a chance to kind of see what's in southeastern Oklahoma. And Adeline is over the Bryan, Atoka, and Pittsburgh County, so she's the one keeping us updated on like this schedule here. You'll see your schedule there. And from 12:45 to 4 o'clock, they're going to be in Atoka and Stringtown. So there's a big part of the day will be spent in this area. This is a good opportunity for tourism because the people that are attending this conference are from all states all over the United States, and even some countries are represented. Last year they had 3 or 4 different countries also represented at the conference. So not only will that one day be an opportunity for our businesses to have some people come in and visit and have give our town some business. When they leave, they're really making a big push at the conference for them to go visit the places along the route that they didn't have time to visit. So it won't just be the downtown businesses in Atoka. That's where they'll be visiting that day because they'll have lunch at Reba's at 12:45 to 2, and then from 2 to 3, they can explore the businesses downtown. So we want all the businesses to be aware of it and be prepared to welcome them.
Okay.
And hopefully it'll really help our businesses that day. But the entire town is involved in this, because when the people leave on Saturday, they're gonna come back through and hopefully stop at some of these places they didn't have time to visit.
Excellent.
So anyway, we're really excited
How many
about.
people we talking about, Becky, on the bus?
I'm
coming?
sorry?
How many people?
Adeline says they're looking at 40 plus
pretty good.
only, and hopefully have 2 buses.
Okay.
So we're looking at 80 some people possibly
Okay.
on the buses. And so our businesses can handle them, because they won't all go into the same business at the same time. So we just really need to get word out, you know, to all the businesses. And we really appreciate Rhonda. I think Rhonda Pierce is going to be the one
Yes.
that's helping as a contact person. And also Gwen Walker will be
Yeah.
getting some history to Adeline, because she's writing up a kind of a narrative for the people on the bus.
Rhonda Pierce.
So to read as they drive, you know, with each community's history. And so Gwen is getting with her, getting all the information there, so she can put it in some type of narrative. So it'll be McAllister's, Stringtown, Atoka, Caddo. They'll make a stop in Caddo to get a picture of the mural there, and then go into Durant, the Culture Center there, the Choctaw Culture Center is where they're gonna be spending a big part of the morning. So we're hoping that this turns out to be a real good thing, not just for June 5th, but going forward, as these people hear about our communities.
Come back through on their own.
So, do y'all have any questions, or can y'all think of anything else that we might need
Yeah,
to do as
appreciate
far
you.
as getting word out?
Appreciate you heading that up.
Okay.
And keeping us informed on it.
Okay, and I think she's adding Gwen and Rhonda to the email list, because she didn't have Atoka names at the time she sent the first one with this schedule. But
Okay.
this is the latest we've gotten, and she will be sending more, I'm sure, as time draws closer.
And she sent this out to the chamber, right? Our chamber?
Yes,
Okay.
Heather has it,
okay.
yes, she has it.
Because I know, I think we have breakfast in
Yes.
Thursday.
And I will be there
Okay, great.
Thursday with the same information. I've talked to Heather a couple of times too,
Excellent.
so I'll be there
That'll
at
be
the
good.
chamber meeting. Thank y'all so
All right,
much.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Vic.
Thank you. All right, as we move on down,
Oh, really quick, one question on this. Somebody posted about that our bathrooms are closed up because we got the construction going on over there, and they were asking about porta potties being put down until it's open, but because since we're having events like this going on, is that a possibility?
is it,
Can we talk about that?
You can talk about
On
bathrooms
comments.
as it relates to the bus tour that is coming through Atoka
Okay.
on June
So, yes,
5th.
Johnny, have you?
We might have an issue with bathrooms with this bus coming through Atoka because they're closed off because of the construction. So I don't know how long it's gonna be, but that might be something that we need to consider. And there's a second Saturday thing coming up, and that was actually the complaint that I had, was that we didn't have any bathrooms for the second Saturday thing.
we'll look into that, see if we can accommodate that.
Sounds good.
Any other council comments? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, roll call, please.
Mr. Sherrill?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Ms. Pogue?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yeah.
Mr. Kathy?
Yes.
What'd you
All right.
need, Jared?
I'm gonna,
Hold on.
supposed to be on this agenda.
hang on, we're getting there. This is one of 3
This is
meetings we got
meeting.
tonight. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we're gonna jump over to the Industrial Authority, Atoka City Industrial Development Authority meeting next. Don't panic.
Okay.
Okay, this time would you call roll, please?
Ms. McGee?
Here.
Mr. Turner?
Here.
Ms. Pogue?
Here.
Mr. Sherrill?
Here.
Mr. Kathy?
Here. All right, as we move down, this is a public comment time. This is anything that is not on the posted agenda. You may address the board at this time. Hearing none, we'll move down the agenda. Item number 1, discussion and/or action regarding approving and rejecting the minutes of the meeting of April 21st, 2025.
I recommend approving.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Sherrill?
Yes.
Ms. Pogue?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Kathy?
Yes. Item number 2, discussion and/or action regarding accepting or rejecting the Economic Development Director's report. Mr. Delay, put
That
your
is
other hat on.
attachment number 2. If
Thank
anyone
you.
has any questions, thank you.
Yeah, we got 3 items, yay.
Motion to approve?
Okay,
I'll second.
have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Turner,
Yes.
Ms. Pogue,
Yes.
Ms. McGee,
Yes.
Mr. Sherrill,
Yes.
Mr. Kathy.
Yes. Item number 3, discussion and/or action on becoming a sponsor for the 50th anniversary of the 48 Hours Music Festival. Now, I'm assuming that must be what you're talking about.
I drove 75 miles an hour to get here.
No, you drove the speed limit plus.
I did, I drove the speed limit, and y'all know they're
Hey,
wide,
Jane.
I hope they're widening that road.
You hear that, Gene?
Sorry, Gene. No, I did not. When I hit Atoka county limits, I went to 62.
Yeah.
Changed 65.
Good answer.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Did it average out though? Did you do the math?
Oh, my gosh. Well,
Thank you for being here.
thank y'all for having me. Garrett Smith, 48 Hours Music Coalition President, and I've got several of my members here. There's 8 of us here this evening, and we wanted to visit with you guys about the November 1st 48 Hours Music Festival. This is the 50th anniversary of the original 48 Hours Festival. So we would like to come to you guys, and we would like to ask for city sponsorship. And what we would like to, we've talked about this, we have already gathered a little over 25,000 in sponsorships so far. Just the coalition crew here has. And so we would like to now request from the city that the city sponsors all AV, which is lighting and sound needs, that the 4 artists that we have contracted, which are Josh Weathers, Jordan Rayner, Jackie Rohr, and Jason Bolin and the Stragglers. So we have 4 artists that'll be coming that day, and we would like the city to sponsor the cost of lighting and sound for the stage. And let us tell you, we are tickled to death with that stage out there and the progress that's been made. I drive by it, well, I used to drive by it daily just because it tickled me to see it. And thank you guys very much for moving ahead and getting that moved on down the line. If you guys would sponsor us and match the 25,000 that we've already gone and secured from businesses, as well as a grant that we've received, then we would have Atoka, the city of Atoka, however you want to do that, be the main sponsor for the festival. Whether that's on all of our advertising, whether we're on, you know, the afternoon shows, the morning shows, all the social media that we do, we would put that the city of Atoka is the main sponsor for the festival. So we'd kind of be kicking off. I don't know if you have plans for the stage before November 1st, but that would kind of be the kickoff to promote your beautiful stage out there and what can happen and how it can really enhance our tourism and bring some tourism dollars into the city. So,
25 for one sponsor? Is
Yeah.
that 25,000 and the lighting and?
no, so that 25,000 would sponsor the lighting, the tech, the AV, all of that. We're having to bring in all of the sound equipment, all the lighting equipment, all the techs to work it, the sound guys, load-in guys, all of those. And those have to come from either Sherman, Oklahoma City, or Tulsa. So then we're having to, they'll contract where we put them up in hotels or Airbnbs, whatever's available at the best price to us. So that is the sponsorship. That 25,000 would go to secure the tech and the stuff that we would need to put on the show.
Why November the 1st?
So we looked, you know, it is 50th anniversary, but the original one took place Labor Day, and we did not want to, that's the huge Choctaw Festival, and we know that a lot of our guests would go, you know, would be pulled in which direction. So then we started looking at different things, and we really wanted it to cool off a little bit. And so we decided September's really busy for the city, extremely busy. So we didn't want to do it in September at all. And then we got to looking at October and some different things popped up. And November 1st, we did it November the 9th last year on the plaza and had a really good attendance. We learned a lot from that. And so we just felt like that first weekend of November might suit us.
The stage is gonna be ready by then?
Supposed to be ready well before now.
Now,
But then
we weren't supposed to get 8 inches of rain while they were trying to pour concrete either.
Right
but
on,
they're-
yeah.
They're making it through
They're
it somehow.
making it through,
so-
yeah.
what were you talking about taking this money from?
But it'd be a CETA, it's on the CETA's
Oh, it's the
agenda, that's why it's on
CETA.
the
Oh,
CETA's
okay.
agenda.
All right.
CETA's the only
Okay.
one that can do this. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm with you, Diane.
We
I
can't-
said-
we
I know what nobody's coming.
That's why I put you on the ACETA.
Thank
You're the
you.
only
Nobody,
ones that have money to do
nobody
it.
explained that to me. But hey, I'll go whatever agenda it
A lot
was.
of our tourism dollars we've done through.
Sounds
this,
good.
Yeah.
And it is, I mean, all those different bands have different criteria and requirements for their lighting and their sound, correct?
Correct.
So
They do.
it's not just one setup, it's changes for every band?
Right. So we would make sure, that's the reason that that's gonna run 25,000, is because Jason Bolin Stragglers, who just played Boys of Oklahoma up at Stillwater, his needs are much larger than, say, Jackie Rohr that was on The Voice. So Jackie and Jordan both were on The Voice. They have national following. They're on a tour together right now. And then you have Josh Weathers coming up from Fort Worth, Texas, who is just bursting open, just released an album last week. So yes, they all, and we have to build that in. All of them have to bring it in that morning, build it in, get it in there.
What's the time frame for the event that day?
So
Or
the-
those 2 days?
Well, no, actually, the Friday night before, we'll do a VIP event for sponsors. And Stetson Frost has offered to host that at his new building. And so then the next morning, we would start sound check as early as 8 PM, load in 8 PM, and then start sound check at 10. And then the festival would be at around 1. That's what I said, 8 AM.
I was gonna say, kicking that off at 1 AM, I'm
You
gonna
know,
probably be
it's
in
all
bed
good.
about that time.
I've had a long day,
Yeah.
a really long day.
So are they gonna do any music on the stage, like any local acts the day before on Friday, possibly, for?
So, no, but because there's an hour between each
Okay.
performance to switch over, what we'd like to do is with the street closure that you okayed in the last meeting for us, we'd like to kind of set up like we did last year on the plaza and have local bands playing those hours in between each act. And we've had a company that has donated the sound equipment for that.
Mr. Mayor,
What day is November
Yes.
first?
if I could interject,
Yes,
the plaza is no longer going to be a viable location. for
correct, we're gonna have
events.
to alter that, aren't we? Okay. Okay. So we'll work on that, but we'll find a spot.
Okay. We'd actually like to put our stage, which would just be a flatbed trailer, we'd like to put it in the street between Jackson's and the bank building, right there, and just park it right in front of it where the planters are, and put the locals on that stage.
Okay.
Yeah, not in the plaza, but we,
That'll
that'll work? Okay, cool. But if we don't need to have anything in the plaza, am I assuming we don't need to have anything in the plaza? Heard. Okay.
So, the,
You'll be able to walk through it.
Gotcha.
Definitely.
Gotcha, perfect.
the, first
not
we need to
rentable.
look at some budgetary. We have a lot of budgetary things going on with the stage and everything
Sure.
else right
Yeah,
now at this
right.
time, so let us, unless somebody else wants to make a motion, I'm just talking out loud right now.
Okay.
Let us have a little time to review this for
Okay.
that dollar amount and get back with you on that.
Okay, sure.
And make sure that all of our budgets are in line for, because this isn't something we had lined up.
Lined up.
But let's look at it and see what possibility, unless somebody else has another thought or comment or.
So we're tabling this till the next meeting?
And that way we make sure, because this gentleman has a lot of
He needs
expenditures
to, Danny needs
look
to
at.
crunch
We need to
them.
look
Okay.
at that, so.
Okay, I got you.
For that
No
amount,
problem.
so let us look at that if you don't mind.
Sure,
and-
we can do that.
And make sure
Yeah.
what we can do.
Can,
Because the whole reason for building that over there is to do events like what you're
this
talking
stuff,
about.
yeah, yeah, and we're more than happy to produce the event, put it on, execute it, work it, make sure it goes off like gangbusters. We just need a little help.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So do I need to be put on the agenda next time? Do I need to come back up and visit to get on the agenda, or can I just show up?
You're gonna make a motion to table it, and
Yes,
we'll
sir.
automatically put it on the next
Yeah.
agenda.
I'll make
There
a
we go.
motion to table it for the next.
So come
meeting.
see us 2 weeks.
Perfect, I'll be
Alright.
back.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Sounds exciting.
Thank
It's a
you.
great,
We
great,
hope so.
great group of bands you got put
Yeah,
together. It's
right?
exciting to see that.
So that's
come
over
together.
his purchasing
Okay.
limit, so I think 25.
Thank y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Thank y'all.
Thanks,
Appreciate it very
everyone.
much. Move down, is there any trustee comments? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to
Oh,
adjourn?
wait, we have
Oh,
a motion to table it.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry, my
table
bad,
and
my
then
bad.
vote.
I need
You
a
gotta watch
second.
me, I try to push it on through. Motion second, roll call please.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Ms. Pogue?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Sherrill? Mr. Kathy?
Yes. All right. Now I have to adjourn, don't I? Did I do that? Yeah. Man, it's been a long day. All right. Is there any trustee comments? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Make that motion.
There we
I'll
go.
second.
I'll get on the track. Have a motion and a second, roll call please.
Ms. Pogue?
Yes.
Sorry. Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Sherrill?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Kathy?
Yes. Sorry, this is my first time ever doing this, so I'll do it. All right. As we move into our last meeting of the evening, the Atoka Municipal Authority, would you call roll, please?
Ms. Pogue?
Here.
Mr. Turner?
Here.
Mr. Sherrill?
Here.
Ms. McGee?
Here.
Mr. Kathy?
Here. Thank everyone for staying with us. This is the public comment time. If there's anything that's not on the posted agenda, you may address the board at this time. Hearing none, we'll move down the business agenda. Item number 1, discussion and/or action regarding approving or rejecting the minutes of the meeting of April 21st, 2025.
I recommend approving.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Pogue?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Sherrill?
Yes.
Mr. Kathy?
Yes. Number 2, presentation of water and sewer rate study for the Atoka Municipal Authority by Communities Unlimited. Galen, good evening.
Hey, Gilly. Sorry to keep you so long.
Oh,
Sorry.
I don't have a long ways to drive to go home, so. So some of you have seen parts of this. I'd like to start, each of you have this packet. If you'll turn to page 10. This is where we start. This is what your finances, page 10 is the water utility, page 11 is the sewer utility. And you'll see that, the income coming in, the revenues from the water system and the sewer system are falling far short of covering all the expenses of treating the water and distributing it to your customers, collecting the wastewater, and treating the wastewater to DEQ standards. We always project out our rate studies to the 5th year, in the hopes that a rate study every 5 years would be sufficient. And we set a goal for you meeting an operating ratio of 1.05 so that, you have a little bit of cushion for some unforeseen expense. And then your debt service coverage is 1.25, and that's required by the loans that you have with the Oklahoma Water Resources Board. So whether I'm standing here today telling you that you're gonna have to change your rates, you're gonna have to increase your rates, makes no difference, because the Water Board is gonna demand that you do that because they hold your notes. So I'm here kind of ahead of them to tell you, you've gotta change your rates because.
Yes, I'm nice.
That's why I asked you to do this right.
Thank you,
Because
Galen.
they're gonna make sure that you do it. We did factor in, because all of your notes that you have with the water board are for like 30-year periods or somewhat less, depending on how much time is left on those notes. We factored in a savings that would be generated by the new rate so that you could start paying some extra to lower the number of years that it takes to pay those loans off. Because what's happening is every 10 to 15 years, you have so many components of one plant or the other that's reached the
Useful
end of
life.
its useful life, that you're actually going out and having to borrow more money to take care of all those things and make the improvements that are needed at the plants. And at the same time, the distribution system for the water and the collection system for the sewer is being neglected because there's just not enough money to replace those lines, to replace the manholes, rehab everything in those systems at the same time that you're trying to keep your plants running so that you stay out of trouble with DEQ. So we factored in, on the water side, $85,000, and on the sewer side, $37,700, because just running a regular amortization schedule, it looked like you might be able to pay some of your loans off like 5 years early by paying in that extra every year. We also looked at the assets of your systems, mainly just the pumps for the lift stations, And on the water system, the booster pumps and repainting the towers every so often, you know, getting them inspected, cleaned out, and repainting them. And so for the water system, you need to be saving $278,365 a year. And for the sewer, you need to be saving $209,605 a year in order to make those replacements as they come needed, instead of having to go out and borrow more money or, you know, chasing grants, because grant money's getting harder to secure. You know, the town was fortunate enough to secure $8 million in grant funding through USDA, but because of everything that's going on in Atoka and improvement in the economic environment of Atoka, now you don't qualify for this. So you can't go back and get, you know, $4 million here and there again. So it's harder to get grant money. And we've been looking at the proposed budgets that are being considered at the federal level, and a lot of the funding sources that even fund the work that I do is being looked at being, you know, cut. If not cut completely out, it's going to be reduced. So there's not going to be as much money for the federal funding programs that you can even get even in loan if it passes the way that it's looking. So you've got to start saving to be able to do some of that, a little bit more of that on your own. And these asset replacement savings accounts will allow you, you know, if you save that money every year, and let's say you go 5 years and you haven't had to replace some pumps, but you know that's coming in the future, then you may be able to apply for a CDBG or some other grant money that you can use that as a match for and be more likely to get the grant money.
I had 2 lift station pumps go out last week.
Yeah.
To fix one was $5,000. I'm not sure what the other one's gonna cost yet.
Yeah, and the pumps, when you have to replace them, they're not cheap, you know. Even when you buy the cheap ones, they're not cheap. They cost
No, and I just
a
got
lot
off
of
the phone
money.
with Wall Engineering, those 2 grants that we did get, by the time they go through DEQ, all their final steps and everything, they don't expect us to start any actual work until early next year.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a year and a half after we
And-
receive the loan before we even get, and the buying power of that 4 million is gonna go down in that year and a half time, is what worries me.
Right, and that's happening to every system across the state, pretty much across the country. We have all these systems that are aging, and, you know, they just have to constantly be kept up. One area where your expenses were increased from 2023 to 2024 was repairs and maintenance. And I used the analogy the other day is it's just like driving an old car. You know, the older your car gets, the more miles it has on it, the more it's going to cost you to keep it running, because the repairs and maintenance, you know, are coming more frequently and things like that. And that happens with your plants as well. So establishing these savings accounts will help you as you move forward. On pages 12 and 13, you'll see just a visual of where you're at. The blue is the blue lines are your revenues, and the red lines are your expenses. And so you can see that.
Those are inverted.
Yeah, they're opposite of what they need to be.
They're opposite of what they need to be. And so, you know, you can see that your expenses are outpacing your revenues for both systems, water and sewer. So when you turn to page 14 and 15, this is the income and expense projections with the proposed rate increase. And you'll see that, you know, we get you to the 5th year, you're still above the 1.05 operating ratio, and you're above the 1.25 debt service coverage requirement of the water board. So, you know, showed you where you're at. I showed you where you could be with the rate increase. And again, 16 and 17 is just a visual where now your revenues are outpacing your expenses, so that you can fund these savings accounts and have you know, a little bit of extra revenues that you can take care of your system a little better with.
Not have to borrow
So-
funds from other accounts.
Right,
to
borrowing
pay.
from other accounts
Even
to
with
take care of things.
the best analysis you have, the thing that really concerns me is there is no guarantee that's what those components are gonna cost when we
Right.
get to year 5.
That's true. You know, this is just based on what they would cost if you replaced them
That-
now,
yeah.
you know.
Because
And,
after COVID, everything went up and everybody hoped it would come back down.
But
It
it
never
never
did.
does. It
It
never
just
does.
continues to rise.
Yeah, this project that we're looking at with the water tower expansion, if it's possible, I mean, we don't have the funding for it right now. And 5, 6 years ago, you could have done this for like $2 million. It's gonna be more like $8 million now.
Right.
I mean, that's the cost of what these components have gone up over just the last 5 to 6 years.
Yeah,
It's
it's-
astronomical. It's unbelievable.
Before COVID, after COVID.
Yeah.
And, you know, projects that we were helping with before COVID to after COVID, they've cost double and sometimes triple the amount that they were projected to cost before COVID.
Yeah.
And it's, like I said, it's not going back down, and, it's
Well,
just gonna be, it's gonna be more costly to live in a small town. People like to live in small towns because usually the cost of living is low, but there's fewer people to spread the cost over, and it's
That's what I was gonna
DEQ
say, the
standards.
same component
Yeah.
for a water plant or a wastewater plant cost X number of dollars. You have less people to help pay for that
Right.
in a small town versus a big town, so.
Right.
Well, and it's,
So-
I look at what was originally spent on the water plant in, was it 2008, 2009, when it was built, and then 2010, 11 was the sewer plant, is that correct?
Yeah, I think it's.
So when those were brought on, those changes were brought on by DEQ standards changing, which threw our plants both plants out of compliance, so they had to be reconstructed. That was, in a 3-year window, the city of Atoka digested $11 million in new debt. Since that time, we have spent $5 million in grant and loan for the water plant, another 1.7 for the sewer plant, and then 2 $4 million grants to just try to keep these plants in compliance
Well, just like the
and
last,
operational
on that
efficiencies.
sheet I gave y'all of the last loan that we're about to start, we haven't started paying on it yet. The actual cost doubled by the time we got the grant to apply for it and put in for it. When it went out for bid, the final cost came in at twice that cost. That's why we have that 5th loan. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had that 5th loan.
How do they set these interest rates? We got great interest, but all
That's-
loans have
that's through
different interest.
OWRB.
It's all through
It's the water
OWRB at the
board.
time
That's
that
what
you
it-
apply
They
for
are
the loan.
subsidized, so they're, you know, they're below market rates, but the way that they subsidize them is based partly on their bond rating. So when their bond rating is
At that
good, they
particular
give a
time,
little bit lower
yeah.
interest rate. That's why they're always different. It's kind
Yeah.
of all over the place, what your rate might be. On page 4, it gives you a little bit of the information, where I pulled information. The biggest part of the information came from your billing and your accounting systems. And we always have to put a disclaimer on our reports that this is based on information that we were given. We can't guarantee that, you know, if we say you're gonna increase your water revenues by a certain dollar amount over 5 years, that you're really gonna do that, because nobody has a crystal ball to see what's coming
Sure.
5 years down the road. We do look at, based on the median household income, there's what they call an affordability index. And the maximum affordable monthly bill based on 2.5% of your median household income would be $84.09. For the sewer rate, it would be, or for the sewer, it would be $67.27. Your average monthly bills are, for each system, is gonna be below that affordable criteria, but it's not pretty. And it's, yeah, I've told you all,
Well, the
it gives me
last-
no pleasure to tell you what you're gonna have to do to the
Right.
people who live here, because it is gonna be hard for a lot of people. But you can't stay in compliance with DEQ, and you can't continue to provide a quality product to your customers if you don't start getting some more money so that you can keep the plant up and keep it running the way it should be, and
Basically
maintain
lost all
it the
of
way
our
it should.
reserves last year by keeping the
Right.
rates low as they were.
So on page 5, you'll see the water rates. There's a column for the current rate structure and a column for the proposed rate structure. You'll see the cost for the average usage per month and the average gallons of water that is consumed by your customers per month. And you can see there, the water bill's gonna go up, the average water bill, which is around 4,200 gallons a month, is gonna go up by $21, almost $22.
The current rate is That's 1760.
Yes, the
She's talking about-
current,
Where's she talking?
the
She
current,
talks- This is your average usage.
This one?
And then that would
1,000.
be the current bill with average usage, and that would
Okay.
be the current bill with the
No, we're
proposed
strictly
usage.
talking about water, we're not talking
Yeah,
about.
that's
we're
water.
talking water
Right
right
now.
now.
Will be next.
Yeah,
about
this
water.
is water right now.
Okay.
So you have each of your rate codes there, you can see, you know, your current rate structure, the proposed rate structure for each rate code, the current average monthly cost, and the current average monthly usage. And you can see, you know, what this is doing. Page 6 continues, 6 and 7 continues for each of your different water rate codes. This does also take into effect your wholesale water customer, which is Atoka 2 at Tushka.
Who all do we
And-
sell water to?
Two.
Just rural two.
So, you know, this is gonna impact not only your customers, but theirs, because they're gonna have to do a rate study and increase their rates in
Have they
order
asked
to
you
afford to
yet
be able to pay the bill to you.
Have they asked
So-
you yet to do one, or?
I haven't talked to them. I figure they'll probably call some of us, either me or Oklahoma Rural Water
I was
Association
gonna
or
say,
somebody
they may do ORWA.
when they get the notice from you that their bill's going up. I looked at things like your employee rate. Your employees are still getting a break. They're going to be impacted too, just like regular customers, but they are still getting a break on their water bill. And the apartments, I looked at the apartments, I'm not sure how many units that there are in the total number of, I think there's five different apartments. But they were really per unit, kind of per household, getting a break. They weren't paying an equivalent amount as to somebody that, in a home, here in town would pay. And then your water wholesale rate is going up substantially. And then on the bottom of page 7, we start with the sewer. And the sewer is being impacted just as greatly as the water. You can see there it shows each of your rate codes and the current rate structure and the proposed and what it'll do to their average monthly bill. So it's not pretty. I don't like having to tell you this kind of news, but this is really, I mean, you really
Real
don't
life.
have a lot of choice in it. You're gonna have to adjust your rates, and to make the choice to not pay your loans down a little faster or to not do the savings to replace the pumps and things on your own as they go out, that's just delaying the inevitable.
You can't operate on all 30-year loans when your
Right.
sewer plant's gonna, and water plant's gonna have to be updated in
Every
in a
15 or
more
20 years.
Shorter period of
Yeah.
time.
So what I would recommend is that you pass the rates that are in here and that you also consider doing an automatic 3% increase each year for the next 5 years so that you can test this out, see how it goes. You know, at the end of 5 years, things going on that are kind of going on in the background here in Atoka that may change the economic climate, you may not need to continue that automatic 3% increase. Also, we talked about making it effective on September 1st.
Oh, it's November. Did we say-
Well,
we
we
started-
talked some more
Subsequent,
about
yeah,
it.
subsequent conversations.
Yeah.
We looked at starting it, making it effective on September 1st, so that the first bills that people pay will be in October.
Yeah.
That gives them time to get past the summer when their usage is higher, and then give them a little bit of time before Christmas hits and Thanksgiving. So they
Which
can
is
kind of
gonna
adjust their
make it
budget a little bit.
A few more tough months for us. you
Yeah,
know,
well,
to
you
get
know,
by.
and I did bring up the fact on maybe we could do some averaging or, you know, to help
Yeah,
those.
we're gonna have to talk to that company on how to do
Because I
that and
think
what to do.
it can be done on the programs. I mean, if you're, you know, I don't know how that they would do
They
that,
just,
but
they would just have to have
it's
data
12
to
years.
use.
the
and you-
12 it's 12 months. I think you take the 12 months and average it.
Yeah, they can take the customer's usage for 12 months
Uh-huh.
and take that average monthly usage and apply it to the new rates to see what would their bill be for that average amount, and then that's what they would pay for that year. And then at the end of the year, they would look at what was their usage for this year, this year period. And if it went
If it's
up,
up, they
then
have
the
to
next year
pay.
they would have a higher average monthly bill,
Okay.
but.
Because, you know, I mean, I think we need, if we're gonna have to
The way,
go up.
the way they talked to Kelly, when she talked to them about it, that 12th month, they would evaluate where you were at after your 11th month, and your 12th month could be a real big bill or
It
a
was-
low
Yeah, we don't wanna do
bill.
that.
It was two different types, so it was an averaging and something else that she sent us.
I don't know, that's
You know-
what she told me a
Oh,
while ago,
okay.
but.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
But.
We're gonna have to have a meeting with these folks and talk to them.
So you're saying if you averaged it?
Yeah,
every
because
month-
PSO does it, and the utilities can do it too.
Right, well, I'm just
Yeah.
saying though, that, so you get to month 11, and they see that there's, just for a number, 5,000 extra gallons that you've used that weren't prorated in to everybody that, because this would be an opt-in, not all people would do.
Right.
Right.
So trying to track that would be, hopefully the system could do it, but, so they're gonna have to pay that extra bill, correct? It doesn't just go
I
away.
guess that's what
right?
Danny's saying, is
Well-
they're saying that
I
that
thought it was-
difference would have to be paid in that 12th month, would be, you know, if they go along, let's say it's 4,233 gallons is the average now, and you let them pay that average monthly bill based on that usage for 11 months, and then you look at their actual meter readings, and maybe their average now is 5,233 gallons, then that would be 11,000 gallons of water that they hadn't paid a bill on. And they're saying that that would have to be collected in that 12th month, so,
But I haven't talked to them directly, so I don't
yeah.
know all of it.
Yeah, we wouldn't wanna,
Yeah.
you wouldn't wanna do it if that's the way you had to do it, because that would be.
Yeah, I
hard
would
on
wanna do
people.
that. I wouldn't wanna make it
Sure.
available, I mean, you know, affordable to people that are, you know, low income and people in residential and low, residential housing, you know, because this is.
Young
this-
families.
Yeah, I mean, because, you know, I mean, I did a PSO averaging, you know, when I was 18, 19, 20, I mean, you know, you just knew what to expect. You know, and it might, like Denny said, it might be different, but I thought that but I looked at it, you know, wasn't, but, and then of course, if they.
It's gonna
they
be
could do
toward the
that.
end of the year before we get that program fully implemented. It's that much to do on it, so it's gonna be
Yeah.
a while.
There's never a good time to do it.
Yeah.
And
No.
we were,
No.
when I was mayor back in 2002, we were meeting with the Oklahoma Water Resource Board, and we were having the same conversations, and we've just prolonged and pushed this down the road. And eventually,
Yeah.
we have to say, we have to do it. And I get it, it's our fault. We, the council, should have made adjustments going along faster, and no one wants to do it, so.
Well, sometimes you make decisions with your heart, because you have a heart for people and you don't wanna put this hurt on them, and you postpone the inevitable so long that then when you do have to do it, because
It's
you have
worse.
to do it, it's harder on them than it
Yeah.
would have been if
Oh,
you'd have just been
I've
raising
had
it
several
all
sleepless
along.
nights on this, but by the same token, I've gotta make sure that the city operates, so I've gotta,
On our,
I gotta weigh both of it, and it's not easy at all.
it's not easy. And our job as a council is to ensure that we're doing the correct thing for the city to be viable and to be functioning properly, so we can supply our citizens with clean drinking water and sewer processes that keep clean and meet DEQ standards. And I will tell you, getting to work with this city manager, this gentleman has crunched every number he can crunch to try to save the citizens as much as he can. And there just comes to a point, you know, to meet the regulatory environment that we have to meet. It's the same for everyone. I mean, the blessing for us right now is we still have capacity on our system to grow. These other systems around us are maxed out, not just in Atoka County, but I'm talking to people in Pittsburgh County and Bryan County. A lot of these rural water systems are 2 and 3 years out before you can even get a meter. So those are severe challenges to overcome. And, you know, I'm on a different water system where my house is here in town, and my rates are already at what?
There's your rates right there.
Yeah, I see them every month, and I know what they are, but I want clean drinking water, you know, and when I turn the faucet on, I want it to come on, you know, and those things cost a lot of money to get them from point A to B. not just to manufacture the water or to process the sewer. It takes a lot of money to transfer them from town to the plants and back and forth. And I've, we've, like I said, we've taken on in the last 3 years, we've taken on $6.7 million in new debt. Fortunately, because of the work you've done and Danny's done to help us, we've been able to be awarded 2 grants of $8 million, or we would be looking at an additional $8 million in debt to accomplish what we're needing to accomplish. And those numbers right here would even begin to touch that if we hadn't received those grants. And so, thank you both for the work done to
Yes.
accomplish that.
You're welcome.
Because that was an incredible feat. I have never seen that in my time on this council, those type of grant funds come to the city of Atoka, and it's very impressive, and I'm very grateful for the work done to get that accomplished. And, yeah, I don't like these numbers either, Kathleen, I don't, but, I mean, it is what it is to, and this. and-
Prices aren't coming down,
No.
and regulations aren't gonna
And
get
this
any
is,
lighter
this
on it,
is,
so.
I was just thinking.
from the
if,
best calculations
know,
you could have, the data you have to
needed
compile all
to
this,
do an average
we
of
hope this is
No, I like that too.
an adequate number.
Because you know what to
And
expect.
the scary part for me is what I've seen over the last 5.5
Yeah.
years of rates or costs. I mean, gosh, just to put a clamp on a water line is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and you're putting a clamp on an old wore-out water line. You know, it needs to be replaced, but we don't have the capital to do those projects, so.
What's the percentage of the increase?
That is in the letter. For each rate group in the letter, it does give the percentage of increase, and some of them are huge numbers. I tried to keep them where, we weren't putting all the burden on your residential customers, we weren't putting all the burden on your commercial customers. My personal opinion is your business customers should pay more than your residential customers. They may have already been paying more, so their percentage may not be as high as some of the other, and then, for water and sewer, it tells for each rate category, the percentage of increase. And there was just no way to do it with any smaller percentage of increase.
What's the difference between residential inside and residential outside?
Okay, the residential outside, those are gonna be a few customers that live outside the city limits, but that are provided water from the city.
Okay.
Those typically have to pay, Rule 4 also a service fee, or whatever
Yeah,
they call it.
it's
like $10
it's an
a month.
agreement between the
So this
city
is a
and
proposed
the rural
rates
water district
As
that
far as the increase?
it's in their it's in their service territory, but they're within your city limits, so they're letting you serve them, charging a little bit of extra fee for you to serve the customers in rural waters district.
So on page 2, kind of lets us know, what their bill is and what their, proposed bill will be. Is that basically?
Correct.
Yes. That's the average bill, based on that
That's just the-
4,233 gallons.
Oh, yeah, 42, okay.
Because
I
that
mean,
was
do-
the average for the whole system.
Because
was
I know I use
4,233.
over 42.
so, yeah.
I might
So you
start
can
not
take
watching
this,
as much.
you can take this and calculate what your bill's gonna be. But the system
Full
average
loads
was
of laundry.
4,233, so
Yeah.
that's what that's based on.
Not my delicacy.
Any other questions?
No, I don't have any.
I just wanna thank you for all your hard
Thank
work.
you, Galen.
I don't know if anybody mentioned it, or I may have already mentioned it, but, this didn't cost us anything. Galen-
This
Galen-
was paid for through an EPA grant that
Yes.
funds our company to do this kind of service for small systems.
We appreciate everything.
This took you a number of hours to try to compile, months and months of working with Danny and trying to.
It did, but the worst part is, I changed jobs with my company, and so I'm only working with one system. That's all they'll allow me to have, one project, and that's
She picked
Atoka.
us. She picked
And,
us.
and it's just, I kept getting pulled off on other projects, and so I would come back to work on this, and I would almost like, okay, where was I at? Start over, go back through everything, make sure I was, wasn't
I
missing
hate doing that
something, and
because I've
it just
done that
dragged it
too.
out longer than I really wanted it to do.
Well, thank you for the presentation.
Thank you. To be clear, there are two different strategies here, correct?
People that know how to,
Yeah,
So there are two different structures.
it shows one's debt service and the other one's,
Okay.
that's how she gets her percentages and ratios and stuff.
Any other questions or comments? Do I hear a motion for,
was that just the
Oh, wait, wait.
presentation?
That was just the presentation.
Yeah,
Three,
number
number three.
three's good.
oh, there you go, okay. Then I don't have to do anything on that one. Let me move on down. Let me read
Johnny
my,
confused me
let
on
me
that
read
one,
my
too.
agenda.
I was looking too, and I was like, wait.
Item number 3, discussion and/or action to approve or reject the recommendations of rate adjustments as recommended by Communities Unlimited.
Okay, I'm on my community action wagon tonight, but this is going to hurt every single person in our city. It is 63% increase, 120% increase. These increases are astronomical for the people that can't afford their bills now.
That's
And
all
our
we need to-
solution is to find organizations to help them. That's not a good solution. And then on top of that, a continued 3%, we will be the highest water in 45 miles. We're already the highest tax rate, so now we become the highest water rate too? McAllister's at 56.28, Antler's $60, Durant 46.60. Those are their bases. And we cannot make it on what our base is right now.
On
And
the
I
flip
think
side of
after
that, how are
5
you gonna
years-
pay for all the things that you have to do to keep these water and sewer plants operational without
And we don't
doing
know, every
this?
time,
Because I can't do it.
yeah, every time you turn around, the DEQ has another rule or reg or
You
cost
see how
expense.
much
I'm
money we
not
lost last
saying-
year.
I'm not saying no increase. I'm saying not an increase of this magnitude.
Where you're never gaining any ground. And you're gonna have to do upgrades quicker, and you're gonna take out more loans, and we're not gonna be able to take out any loans because nobody's gonna loan us any money.
I think we're gonna have people without water.
Well, then that's why I think we should try to do an averaging plan for people. you
But if
know.
in December, their average comes out to having a $400 bill, how's that helping them?
Well, just ask, have you talked to people, have you talked to people, I've talked to people that are low-income people, but they have a dish bill of $250.
So we dictate how they spend their
No, I'm
money.
just saying, if they
It's all
can
about
pay,
priorities, I mean.
if they can pay a $260, what's more important? Is water not important?
It is important.
Okay, that's
but
what
I
I'm
think that
saying,
it's very
sometimes we
important.
have to prioritize in our life what we need to pay.
I've done that all my life.
I have too.
I just,
I
I worked
think
2
that we
jobs, 3
knowingly are
jobs, and
going to
whatever
hurt
it
our
took to
citizens.
do whatever I had to do.
Well, I mean,
And I don't think that a 63% and 120% increase is fair to our citizens. Yes, Kobe's right. We should have done this a long time ago. We should have been doing it all along. And yes, I probably threw a fit the last water increase.
Yes, we should have.
Because it hurts the people that need us to be compassionate for their situations.
Where
And
we
it's
hurt-
not
where we-
everybody has cable or dish.
where
Not
we hurt those
everybody-
people more is when we can't meet our obligations.
I'm sorry, but our water
And-
isn't drinkable now. I mean, brown water on my walls in my bathroom doesn't mean I
When
want
we
to drink
can't
it.
meet our obligations on the debt servicing, they will mandate that we change these rates.
Really have no choice.
No, sir. This is
I
nothing.
would rather wait for
I will
amendment.
promise you, none of us want to do this. I don't even have to ask the board.
I
I know
know,
nobody
I-
wants to go up on water rates, but these are the numbers that we're looking at. And again, thank you for this analysis because it's untold hours that you have spent trying to calculate this to the best of your ability to help us come to a solution here of where we need to go. Because Danny already puts in 60 or 70 hours and trying to do any more won't work. So that's why he reached out to have Communities Unlimited help us.
She's
And-
done these before. She's got experience in doing
Yes.
these that I don't have.
So this is not a fun conversation to have at all. And if there is any way in the future that we would be able to back up on those a little bit, great. But again, these rate increases that we've looked at, and I've said it before, for the last 11 years, we look at what it cost us to manufacture the water. And nothing has ever been addressed in the rate structure to deal with the distribution side of the system.
And the
And
average
that is the
person-
oldest part of our system, where we spend the vast majority of our money trying to
I just don't wanna
maintain.
become
Average
another
person doesn't have a
Flint,
clue what
Michigan
it
or
takes
something like
to
You
that.
see
do
people,
water.
you see
know,
people, you see our
safe
guys
water.
out here working on these breaks all the time.
I
That's
know.
because everything in this town, every pipe in the ground is at least 60 years old.
And
And it's
every,
gonna keep getting worse, and something has gotta be done.
every city leader I talk to in other cities are looking at the exact same problem.
They
The
just-
exact same
They just
problem.
hesitate to do this.
And I mean, nobody wants to go up on their citizens, nobody.
No, they shouldn't.
But the reality of it is, these parts have gone, the cost of this is astronomical to where it was even though we didn't keep track on possibly doing the rate increases, even if we had, I still don't think nobody could have projected what these costs have done over the last 5 years. And we have to keep paying these prices, because we can't just
I
go
think
find
if
the
we
parts.
don't-
I'll
we-
do my part. I'll take one shower a month.
We'd prefer.
That's pretty,
Okay.
you're still gonna pay $100 a month, isn't it?
That's all right.
Well, I'm afraid if we don't, we're gonna be another Flint, Michigan or something like that. I think
Well-
we, safe water, I mean, I wanna be able to drink water safely. I don't wanna be able to,
Well, the thing to do is
you
be
know,
proactive instead of having to try to be reactive to an agency telling you this is what you're gonna do.
well, yeah.
You know, I've been reading for years, and that's before I ever came down here, that water was gonna eventually become the most important resource basically there is. And here it is. It's gradually getting toward that point of cost-wise that it is up there.
Okay, any other discussion on this item?
No.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion to approve the adjustment, rate to, what, I'm sorry, I didn't close my. I'll make the motion to approve the adjustment rate, increase on the adjustment rate.
Okay, have a motion on the floor. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Mr. Mayor, I
Yes.
just want to let the board know that this will have to be passed again in city council next
Yes.
month,
Yes, sir.
formal resolution.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
I'm glad you said that, because
Yep.
I meant to ask you that earlier. I knew we'd have to do it that way. So.
That's why we have Johnny here. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Pogue?
No.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Sherrill?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Kathy?
Yes. Item number 4, discussion and/or action to approve or reject the payment to HCCCO.
Thank you, Galen.
Thank
Galen,
you.
thank you.
Can we pass that
For
to
pay
Susan?
application number 5 in the amount of $57,552.49. $28,776.24 will be reimbursed by the ARPA Headworks grant.
Which
Again, this
leaves-
is an item that we approved at the
The
council.
opposite amount, except 125, paid by the CDBG, part of that other grant.
Okay,
I recommend approving. I'll second.
have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Ms. Pogue?
Yes.
Mr. Sherrill?
Yes.
Mr. Kathy?
Yes. Item number 5, discussion and/or action on authorizing the city manager to borrow funds from the Atoka, from the City of Atoka School Tax Account and/or Choctaw Donation Account to fund the upfront cost associated with certain ARPA, USDA, and CDBG grants. These funds will be repaid upon receipt of reimbursement associated with those grants. Again, this is the item that we
Yes, yes.
addressed on the other.
And we received our final reimbursement from our rig grant today, and I believe it was 90-something thousand dollars.
Okay. I recommend approving.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Ms. Pogue?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Sherrill?
Yes.
Mr. Kathy?
Yes. Are there any trustee comments? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Ms. Pogue?
Yes.
Mr. Sherrill?
Yes.
Mr. Kathy?
Yes. Thank you all. We are adjourned for the evening.